Okay. I'm
Yeah,
here again.
we did it.
I'm here again.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, I'm excited we could do this and not have to reschedule. So yay, Mona.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, you guys, we are back with the one and only Mona. And we are going to be talking about paramedical tattooing. If you have not seen Mona on Instagram, she is a freaking ninja. She's an amazing artist who's recently added paramedical tattooing to her business. So we're going to talk all about that. For you guys who don't know me, my name is Jody Stoski. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I have a tattoo business called Cinnamon Girl Clinic, and I also have an online paramedical academy called the Jody Stoski Paramedical Academy, where we teach all things paramedical. So today we have Mona joining us. Mona, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. My name's Mona. I go by Mona Lisa, and I have the Beauty by Design permanent makeup med spa. And I guess I've been interested in this since a child, you know, fixing my friends up, whether it was hair, makeup, clothes. And then it evolved, and I came into it knowing some Brazilian artists, and it was a great interest to me. And I wanted to be able to set up the paramedical and the cosmetic tattooing, just to be able to have a lot of artists and work as a team and form like life balance work, so that we could all have like a balance in life and help people at the same time. And that's evolved into doing the cosmetic tattooing. And then in 2018, I started just delving into the medical tattooing and the corrections, you know, the camouflage corrections, corrections on brows, lips, and it just started evolving from there.
So you feel like the birth of it was kind of the corrective aspect, and then it sort of led its way into paramedical.
Right. That's exactly how it goes, because they come in and they have botched procedures, or they have, they start asking you about scars and what you can do and so forth. So you get interested in helping them feel better, I think.
And I also think it's kind of a natural progression, surprisingly, when you have people in your chair already, that you end up on paramedical tattooing. For me, I can have that conversation 10 times a day, because people will see pictures of my work, and then they're curious. They want to talk about it. Paramedical is so intriguing to people. Do you find the same with you? Is that how those conversations get started?
Yes, it does. It's like I might be doing their brows, and then they have a scar on their neck from a thyroid being taken out, or they just start asking questions.
Yeah.
I think it's all in the field, really. The field of cosmetic tattooing and medical tattooing, the same. It's all in the same field.
And do you think now that where we're going with tattooing, it's, you know, obviously there's the cosmetic end that's very busy, and, you know, a lot will say saturated. How do you feel about the paramedical version?
I think it's very new, really, to this industry. It seems to be very new. A lot of people haven't heard about it, or I think we need to make people more knowledgeable about it, because it's a way of helping people that's a lot more simple than undergoing plastic surgery and these lasers and extensive treatments, where they can come in and get the medical tattooing done, which is a lot less invasive. I mean, it's invasive, but a lot less invasive. And they're very satisfied with it, and it works.
Yeah.
It works.
I think it's what's so amazing about it, and why even when you and I were talking, it's like, this is in its infancy as far as it is about to explode. And I always say it reminds me of what, you know, or cosmetic tattooing was 10 or 13 years ago. And it's like you said, these are procedures that people don't necessarily know about, but can avoid them another surgery or potentially a more invasive treatment, or not having anything done at all and them just feeling like they need to live with that. And
Right.
it is such an amazing service to give to people. What are some of the procedures that stand out to you from a paramedical standpoint?
A lot of it is scarring, like
Mm-hmm.
whether it's an auto accident, burn, or, a lot of it's scarring. And it can go from stretch mark camouflage to just regular scarring to areola. You know, it's it's just imperfections that bother people
Right.
a lot.
And it's so different in paramedical because the expectation is different. We are dealing with women or men that have an idea in their minds of improvement, not of perfection. And do you find that with your clients as well?
I find that I find that, but I also find that I'm always trying to perfect it. And I know that, you know, a lot of times it's not perfect, but it looks near perfect.
Yeah.
And they're happy and they're very satisfied with it. But I'm always trying to perfect it more and more and more. I think we all are. We all do that. It's a
I think
normal.
in this business we tend to be perfectionists anyways, so
Hmm.
I know for me I want to go for a 10 out of 10 result for them, but even if they end up with an 8 out of 10, they're absolutely thrilled, which is a cool concept. And it's a little less stressful as a paramedical tattoo artist than maybe getting somebody's brows perfect on their face.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And for me, like as an instructor, I think I hear a lot of people saying, well, they're nervous to do it. And I
Hmm.
think sometimes it's just a lack of that education, but they're nervous because they don't want to put somebody through more trauma, which I totally
Hmm.
respect and understand. But as a
Right.
paramedical tattoo artist, that's not the case. If you're educated properly, you improve these things. You have the ability to work conservatively and baby
Hmm.
step your way to results. It's not
Hmm.
like, hey, I mapped out this eyebrow
Right.
and this is what's going on. And if we didn't nail it or you don't like it, we have ourselves a problem, because you
Right.
do typically jump off the deep end in the
Right.
first appointment to some degree, right?
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, to be conservative with the start on paramedical tattooing, by tattooing lighter and then, you know, watching the results and then going from there. Yeah, it's a lot easier than perfecting eyebrows the first time or even on the touch up.
I
You
love
know.
that you're sharing that, because you're in it. You have a very popular business, not only with cosmetic, but paramedical. And it's so great to educate people that this is not as complicated as some people make it out to be. What's in your business? We talked about how paramedical is really starting to take over your side of the business. So
Hmm.
tell us what that looks like now for you.
It's that people are getting more educated
Mm-hmm.
and they're finding out from doing cosmetic tattooing. I mean, they're starting to spread the word that because a lot of people have other, you know, things that they feel are defective that can be fixed, and they're just spreading the word. And when they spread the word, then the business just starts coming, and then you're just bringing it in little by little. I think right now we probably do 30% of paramedical because just starting, but I'm gearing up to be able to go out and educate, the public on the paramedical side of the tattooing so that they'll know that there's a facility that they can come to and get it done.
And you're in Las Vegas. Does this exist in Las Vegas? Or are you one of the few people?
Um, it's not heard of a lot here in Las
Mm-hmm.
Vegas. I'm sure there's a few places that probably do it, but it's not it's not really well known.
Yeah.
So it should be. It needs to be.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
What's your marketing strategy?
I think that right now I'm expanding a little bit so I can set up the paramedical, just the side to separate it from the cosmetic tattooing. And then setting that up, I intend on going out to the doctors and surgical side of that part, you know, where they do cancer patients, or, you know, and making them aware that we're here and we can offer that service to them.
I also, one of the big questions I get is like, how are you educating people that you exist? And your answer to that is like, I'm going to doctors' offices, the plastic surgeons, dermatologists are really great people to explain these services to, because when a surgeon completes their work, for example, a mastectomy, it's like, hey, I gave you a great mastectomy, you're healed up, your cancer's gone or in remission. And that's the end of that journey for that procedure with that doctor. And yet we both know how much can still be left for healing, both physically and mentally. And a lot of the tattooing that we do takes care of both of those things. So even educating the doctors alone about this being a service that you can provide is a great way to be busy with paramedical. Are there any other people who you feel it's valuable to market to? What other ideas do you have?
I think that just getting it out online or on your website or in your advertisements, however you're doing your advertisements, is a great way, other than going personally to a doctor's office, surgeons, dermatologists. Other than that, I think that just get it out there in literature so that people can read about it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's like growing your PMU business. People think growing paramedical is so different when it's actually not. It's definitely one of those procedures and areas that you take, just like what you did with your PMU, translate it into your paramedical business, and voila, you're just duplicating your business model. Someone had just mentioned that behavioral health places for self-harm scars. I know I do a lot of self-harm scars. It's really popular.
Yeah,
do you do the same?
I have, yeah. I have.
And I think there's a lot of other places to reach out to make those types of connections with people. So not even just marketing to the people that we described, but on like the Facebook groups, reaching out to even burn units, women's shelters, and places like that. It's like almost endless as to who you can help with these services.
And your current clients.
Yeah.
Because they do know other people that need the paramedical services. So just your files of your current clients, you know, make them aware, hey, we're adding this service, and if you know anybody, we're here, you know.
So more of an email type style of marketing.
Like an email marketing, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a great way. One of the other things that's been really successful for me is, as I mentioned before, having pictures of the work. People are so intrigued by paramedical tattooing, more so even than cosmetic, which I felt back in the day people could not get enough about talking about cosmetic tattooing, where now with paramedical, it's like that, but times 10.
Right. I agree with that.
Mona, where do you think paramedical is going in the future? What does that look like in your mind?
I think paramedical will become pretty big. I was just looking online where somebody had lost their ends of their fingers, and the fingernails were tattooed on, and that was, to me, that was amazing. I was like, if I saw that person, I would have never knew that they had lost the ends of their fingers. It's wherever the mind can go, how creative somebody can get with that. It can evolve into many, many things.
Yeah, there's certainly, I want to say, endless options for creating paramedical. It's really can swing into that art factor as far as like, okay, we did a skin graft. Now we're going to add some freckles and a
Hmm.
birthmark or whatever it is
Right,
to kind of match the skin around it, which I think is so fun. I could do that all day long. And it's different than mapping out brows all day long or doing eyeliner. It's just there's never the same case twice, which
right.
is very exciting.
Yeah, for instance, I had a doctor in, and a woman had silicone put in her lips, and then it spread. And this was years ago. However, one side of her lip, it just was went down and was very uneven. And so I was working with the doctor, and the doctor put filler in the lip, which caused it to, get enlarged and match the other side. However, it needed to have a tattooed, like a lip line,
Yeah.
and then filled in with color, and it came out beautiful. But it was an old botched silicone when they used to put silicone
Yeah.
fillers in that never really worked very well for lips. Well, not for her anyway, but it ended up, she ended up getting fixed, which was, she was ecstatic over that, which is
Yeah.
good. So working with doctors, it helps, because they're very knowledgeable and they can help with certain parts, and then we take over the other
Yeah.
areas.
It's this beautiful relationship of, hey, we've taken it this far and now you take it this far, and that
Right.
completes the
It's
journey.
teamwork.
I love that story. Tell us one more story, Monica, about, or Mona, about your favorite case that you've done.
I had I had a gentleman come in, and he had been in a bad car accident. And he probably had a foot long scar on the back of his, from his neck down his back. And he was so embarrassed because it showed, he could wear a collar, it still showed. It
Mhm.
showed most of the time. And it was large. And he was so ashamed of it. He had went to a tattoo facility, and plastic surgeon. The money was outrageous for it. And he flew into Vegas, and I don't think he even intended on doing that, but he started looking around at tattoo parlors, and then they told him he needed to get plastic surgery on it, and he ended up coming in here probably 6 o'clock at night, and in a couple of hours I camouflaged the scar, and he left. I mean, he was thrilled, really thrilled.
Wow.
He was like, changed his life. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I can't believe it. I can't see this. But
Yeah.
I mean, the scar was still there. You just couldn't see it because it was camouflaged. It was like
Yeah.
bright, you know, because he was dark, had dark skin, and it was really bright. And so it showed up everywhere he went. It was embarrassing, and he was ashamed of it. So it was a really bad accident,
Oh,
but
that's an amazing,
I was
amazing
happy.
story.
Yeah, I was happy about that.
And it does literally change people's lives. What would you say to people who are PMUs that have machine experience if they want to get into this? Would you recommend it? Where you stand on that?
Well, I would recommend it because they're getting clients that are asking about it, and they already have a lot of the experience because they are doing eyeliner and lips and brows, and they're familiar with color and color theory and so forth. So it's not that hard to get into. And of course, they could take your class, which is an easy class because easy learning, you're very good at that,
Mhm.
and add it to their business like that.
Yeah.
And they would be very happy because they're into the makeup, cosmetic, tattooing, because they're wanting to help people feel good and look good. So that's just adding a even deeper part to help people. So I think
Yeah.
they'd be, I mean, it's gratifying, and they'd like it.
And you guys, for who is listening and who's joined in today, this is coming from an artist who has seen 30% of her business now translate into paramedical tattooing, which is incredible. You've been doing it for a year and you're seeing that kind of growth. So thank you so much for sharing that. I love that we had you on. It was wonderful to talk to you. And where can we find you, Mona?
It's at A Beauty by Design.
Okay.
On Instagram at beautybydesign.vegas website, or at a beautybydesign_academy, because we're an academy and a studio, so we do train. But those are all the places you can find me.
One of the questions that I just popped up, do you do PMU training, Mona?
Yes, I do.
Okay, someone just popped on and asked about that. Do you do right like from the basics and onward?
From fundamentals on lips, eyeliner, brows, everything you can think of.
And people can fly in to see you to do that?
Mm-hmm, they do regularly.
So for people who are listening or watching, that is the way to start. Would you agree?
I agree.
You need to start learning the fundamentals, the machine idea, and you can then make that transition into paramedical. And like you and I were talking, really reasonably easy. I want to even challenge the fact that a lot of the paramedical procedures are 100 times easier than the cosmetic procedures. So I'd certainly encourage you not only to check out Mona for fundamentals, but if you're already there, please head over to the Jody Stoski Paramedical Tattoo Academy.
Absolutely.
We'll get you the fundamentals of all the paramedical, and both Mona and I agree that this is where it's at. This is where it's going. And thank you again.
And you'll love it.
Thank you so much. And
thank you, Jody. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye.